All right, very good. So we are now good to go. Okay, so let's talk about promoting your website, your fundraising website, and we're going to be using video primarily. And and it is really going to be the key to alternative promotion. How many of you all have a website? Most of you all probably have a website or website that you're going to be using. And I'm going to just kind of talk you through this first part right off the bat. I'm going to tell you kind of what I did to make this work. How many of you all know how to install your own WordPress site? So for example, my main website is gainmindshare.com, right? I don't really use the front page a lot, but that is my website. So if you were to go to gainmindshare.com, you'd know that there's a WordPress theme here. And the WordPress theme here is being used with Optimized Press. Now, if I wanted to use the fundraising plugin, I would not put that fundraising plugin on gainmindshare.com. What I would do is I would do a separate installation of WordPress in another website, and I would do that second installation. In this case, I already did it, so I did a second installation in fundraising, right? I did it inside of the subdirectory called fundraising. Is everybody with me on that? So if you get that first part, please put the number 1 in the question box. So that's really the kind of the first step to this, is you want to go ahead and if you're going to do the plugin, you want to do it in what I think to be a subdirectory and not on your main website. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. We want to keep this activity separate from our main website, but at the same time, we want to be able to use what we've already done with our video channel. Now, once I actually do this, I'm going to have my fundraising post, and I've just done a sample fundraising post here. It's fundraising.com, send Lana to college, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab that entire URL because that's where my fundraising campaign would be. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be promoting this using YouTube. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you here in a minute, but I want to kind of touch base here from the slide presentation. We're going to be using YouTube to create viral video campaigns. That's basically the strategy, along with the fact that you have created a separate subdirectory for your website. So we want to combine those two things. We want to use YouTube. At the same time, we want to keep our fundraising campaign separate from the main activities from our website. Now, when we do that, we're going to first need to have an approved channel from YouTube with all the extra features enabled. Now, let me show you what I mean here by that. I'm going to go inside of YouTube for a second. I'm going to go inside of the channel area. And you're going to notice something here. First of all, my channel is enabled for monetization. Now, I don't think you have to have your channel enabled for monetization to do what we're going to be talking about here tonight, but you are going to need to have external annotations enabled. How many of you all already have that done? So if you have external annotations enabled for your main YouTube website, please put the number 2 in the question box. If you don't, you are definitely going to want to take that step before you start doing this part of it. Okay, Marty, great. Appreciate that. Now, the other thing you're going to need here is you're going to need to have live streaming enabled and embedding live stream enabled. How many of you all have that enabled? So if you have your live streaming enabled and your embed live streams enabled, please put the number 3 in the question box. So those are two things that you're going to want to have. You want to have your external annotations. You want to have your live streaming also. Okay. The other thing you want to have, and this is just sort of a branding issue, you want to have your custom URL enabled. So if you haven't done that, you want to have something that's going to be branded to you, right? So that people not only can find your campaigns, we're going to be able to find your videos also. So if you don't have that done, You may not have even known that you could do that. You want to go in and get your custom URL enabled. And that's not necessary for the strategy, but it will definitely help you to be able to do it. Right? Now, the other thing is that you want to be enabled. Most of you are already enabled to have unlisted and private videos. If you are not, you want to do that because some of your videos you're going to want to show to the public and others of them you are not going to want to show to the public. I'm going to suggest that you make sure you're able to do that also. Lastly, because you're going to be doing a fundraising campaign, some of your videos are going to be longer than others. You want to have videos, to be able to have videos longer than 15 minutes. Again, all of these are things that you want to have ready and enabled for your YouTube channel in order to fully take advantage of what we're going to be talking about here tonight. Is everybody with me? So even if you don't have everything that I just talked about, please put the number 4 in the question box if you understand what I just talked about. Even if you don't have it, you want to be able to do it. What was the one right before the longer videos? I think I talked about unlisted and private videos, Diane. Unlisted and private. So you want to have unlisted and private. You want to have custom URL, live streaming. Right? You want to have that, external annotations, and longer videos. Right? I don't think you have to have monetization enabled, but if you do, just go ahead and go through that process. Now, in order to get external annotations enabled, you're going to need to verify your website with YouTube. So you are going to need to have control over the domain. So if you're using WordPress.com, you're gonna want to make sure that this website that you're using is going to be one that you have control over the hosting. So in order to do this external annotations part, again, you're not going to be able to do this with a website where you can't go into the hosting and verify that it is yours and that you own it. Right? So that's one aspect of this you want to be aware of. And so once you go through the verification process, then your channel will then be ready in order to do what we're talking about. So let me just recap this. First, remember I talked about the fact that I think you want to put your fundraising website, a separate installation, in a subdirectory. I've just called this fundraising just for the sake of argument. You can call it whatever you want to. You want to have that fundraising, you want to have all your fundraising here so that it's in a subdirectory, right? Then you want to make sure that when you enable a website for external annotations, the one you want to have enabled is going to be your main site. So in this case, the site that's tied to my YouTube channel, the one that I have, enabled, the one that I have verified is gainmindshare.com. Right? So I didn't have to go through that a second time, but I did make sure that gainmindshare.com is verified with YouTube. Right? Is everybody with me on that? If you get what I just said, please put the number 5 in the question box. You want to have this main website, right? The main website. You want to have that to be the website that's verified with YouTube. Okay, great. Okay, so now if you have those things, you are then kind of ready to kind of rock and roll with this. And I'm going to show you why this is pretty powerful. And once you have that, okay, you have your associated website approved to use with your channel. So we've already had that. Again, we don't have to go through that a second time, even if we install that WordPress site in a subdirectory. We don't have to go through that process again in order to tie it to YouTube. Okay, so once you have these things in place, there are going to be these 3 basic ways in order to leverage YouTube to promote your fundraising campaign. The first is going to be annotations, and I'm going to show you this here in a minute. Now, when I tell you about annotations, I want to be clear about this. Now, annotations have been around probably for the last 5 years, right? Maybe even longer than that. But now, what you want to understand about annotations is your mobile users cannot see annotations. They can't click on them. So they if you have annotations and you choose to use them, you just make sure that you understand that the people that are going to see those annotations are only going to be on a PC or a Mac. I don't even think that they're going to be able to be on an iPad. So you just want to be aware of that if you choose to use them. Now let's take a look at annotations. And let's just go to one of our videos here. And most of you are probably familiar with annotations, but let's kind of go through this a little bit anyway. I'm going to go and edit an actual video. And then I'm going to go up here to the top where it says in-screen and annotations. And when I get there, I'm going to go ahead and stop this right now. I don't want it to play. And there are two sets of instructions I can look at. So the first, I'm going to look at annotations. Right? And YouTube will tell you right off the bat that you can't use. Let's go ahead and close that. YouTube will tell you annotations don't work on mobile. Try cards and in-screen instead. We're actually going to go through that. Now, when you add an annotation, what you're doing is you're adding basically, let's say we're going to add a label here. And we want to make this label clickable, right? We want it to be clickable so that when the user clicks on this while they're watching our video, they can be taken to our fundraising campaign. And we can actually stretch that out through the entire video. Or we can make it for a certain part of the video. So we can actually stretch this out. We can say, we want this annotation, we want this clickable link to appear throughout our entire video. Now, if you have some creativity, right? If you have a little creativity with this, you can start thinking about how you create your video. So when you create your video, you want to give your user visual clues that they can click on. You want to do things in the video that you can give your users a target to click on and make it visual. And what that does is that allows your viewer to not only participate with you, but it also gives you an opportunity to make them, or at least make something interesting for them in order to click. So when I get this label, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, click here to find out more. Right? And so what I'm going to do here, maybe I'll change the color. And then I'm going to actually enable this link. And when I enable the link, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place this, I'm going to say I want to use an associated website. And that's when I'm going to put in my, my funding site. Now again, this is not going to work if you don't have your site tied to your YouTube channel. It has to be approved. Now when you do this, YouTube will typically say that you don't have a valid URL unless you use a www. Right, so now you'll notice now that I have a blue link here that says my link is valid. That means I can use my associated website to make this link clickable inside of my channel, right, inside of my campaigns. Everybody clear on that? Does that make sense? Oops, I got rid of my screen there. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Let's get that back. Okay, is everybody clear on just what I just talked about? So if you are, please just put the letter Y in the question box, if that makes sense to you, about annotations. Okay, great. So we want to be able to use this annotation inside of any of the labels. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about annotations. I've got an entire product on this. On YouTube on what all these things do and what they mean. If you go in and test them, you'll see various ways that you can actually do this kind of annotation. Now again, the important thing to remember is that this is not going to be able to be seen on mobile, right, and as YouTube is telling you. But it is a powerful way of being able to get your users to click. Now, The other thing that you can actually do, and this is really kind of new from YouTube, is you can actually put on there what they call in screen. And it's really kind of a short way of being able to get your user and giving your user a target to click. And so what I'm going to do here using the in screen, and these in screens are visible on mobile, right? So again, you'll notice here that I can actually create a link for my user to click. And what do you see here? You see my associated website. So what am I going to put on the website? Well, I'm going to put in there gainmindshare.com, right? And I'm going to put in there www just so it'll be clear to them. And I'm just going to go and I'm going to click next. Right now, there is no, I don't have an image associated with it, but I can change the image, right? That's going to be, and what's really cool about this is I can actually do a call to action, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say, learn more, right? Then I'm going to create the element. I need to provide an image here, so let's just do this. This might be too big, but let's just put that in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the element. And so now you'll see here, you'll notice here that this end screen is going to appear at the 35 minute and 40-second mark. Right, so I can do this. I can have this, but what you have to remember about using an end screen is we can do multiple end screens, but we've got to do at least one element as a video or a playlist. So you want to have at least 2 videos in order to do in order to start using the end screens. But it's going to appear at the very end. You'll notice here that it's only going to appear for 20 seconds, and it's going to be right here at the end. Right? So now we're going to have to make sure that we also put another video in here. So you want to have at least 2 videos that you're going to be able to use for your campaign. Maybe you want to have something that's a little more descriptive. Maybe you want to have another video saying, you know, meet, in this case, I just did something called meet, send Lana to college. Just kind of, I said, well, maybe I do a second video that said meet Lana, right? Click here to meet Lana. And so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send people to something else about the campaign. YouTube wants you to keep people on YouTube. But if we work with them, they're going to help us to get what we want also. We want people to watch our videos and to click our links. All YouTube wants us to do is to keep people on YouTube. So we're going to help YouTube, and YouTube's going to help us back. And we're going to do that by giving them another video to create using the end screens. Is everybody with me? So if you're with me, please put the number 6 in the question box, if this makes sense to you so far. Okay, thanks, Cleta and Marty. Appreciate that. Okay, Diane, great question. Okay, so why do we need 2 videos? Well, YouTube will tell us here, and I'll size this up. In order to allow us to do a link, YouTube says that at least one element must be a video or playlist. Right? Does that make sense, Diane? So pretty much YouTube is saying that in order for us to use this cool feature, we just have to have one video as a video and playlist because, you know, YouTube's about YouTube, which is fine. We don't care about that. We'll just use that to our advantage. Okay? Now, so we're going to be able to use end screens in order to get people to click our links. Once again, what you want to do is when you create the video is you want to know that, okay, so at the last 20 seconds of your video, as you create it, you want to give your user, your viewer, something visual to do. And then you want to tell them, you want to point to where you're going to be able to place this end screen. And so you can move this around, right? So you can say, hey, you know, right down here at the bottom right, here at the end of the video, I'm going to want you to click this link so you can find out more. Does that make sense? So you're going to be able to place these end screens, and you're going to be able to tell your user or give them something visual to do, right? So again, maximum creativity if you can actually get something for your user to actually do during the video. Okay, so that's sort of one aspect. And again, the cool thing about end screens are that you can actually see them on mobile. Right now, next thing is I want to talk about cards a little bit. Now, cards are actually cool because cards are a little bit like end screens, only that we're going to be showing people these cards, and we can actually show them these cards throughout the video whenever we want. They're like annotations, except that they're actually physical. You're actually going to be able to see them physical, and we're not limited to have a video there. So we're going to, again, create our link. We're going to say next, and then we're going to write in our call to action. And then we're going to write in a little teaser text. Get access to our best training. You got a limit to our training. And then we'll choose an image. Right, so again, I mean, you can choose the image for your campaign. And we're going to go ahead and create this card. Okay, so I can decide where this card's going to appear. Right, and how long it's and where it's going to appear. Right, so what I can do is I can move this. I can actually add in another card if I want to. So what we're doing is we're giving our viewer, once again, the opportunity to click on more of our cards. And what happens is the user is going to get this little message here, and then there's going to be our card. Right? So we're going to be able to, again, give our viewer more opportunities to click our links back to our website. Right? And click directly on our video. Now, once again, that's only part of the process. Now, what I'm going to suggest that you do, and we'll take a look at this here in a minute, is to look at doing live video. Now, why do I say live video? Well, live video for a couple of reasons. Number one, because live video will allow you to take advantage of the cards that I just showed you. And number two, you get two opportunities to engage your viewers. You get the live video, and you also get the recording, right? The recording stays on YouTube. So live video can actually be done, and let's go to the live streaming, and hopefully you're enabled for live streaming. You are going to need to have a webcam, or you're going to need to have a little equipment. Now, just a little heads up on this. Now, how many of you all have a webcam? Right? How many of you all have a webcam, and that's how you do kind of all your live stuff? So if you did Periscope or you did Facebook Live, you have a webcam. Okay, most of you. Okay, good. So what you would do here is you'd actually go to the events area, right? You'd actually go to your events, and you're actually going to create a new live event. When you create this new live event, you're going to notice something here that YouTube's going to give you the opportunity to either use Google Hangouts on Air or custom. You want to use the quick one, right? You want to use the quick one. Right now, oh yeah, no problem, Marty. Yeah, but yeah, and you should use recorded video. But and that is, and you can actually and even though still, one of the things that you can actually do here, Marty, is you could actually record the live event and make it private, right? And still use Google Hangouts on Air. But again, your point's well taken. You've got the option of doing it either way, right? You can do it. You could right on. So when we do this, we're going to, I'm going to say send Lana to college. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose this live hangout. I'm going to click go live now. Now my bandwidth's kind of limited, so it's going to open up this. It's going to open up this screen. And then I'm going to actually be able to start talking. Now, here's what I want to show you. How many of you all see these links down here at the bottom? Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this link and copy it. I'm not going to go ahead and go live. I'm going to get this link. And here's why I want this link. Let's close that out. When I actually go to place that link, what's going to happen is people who click that link are going to be able to watch the live broadcast, right? They're going to be able to watch the live broadcast. And that's what's really cool about this, is that people are going to be able to watch the live broadcast. Now, I want, and so now the other part to this is, let's kind of go back here again. We're actually going to be able to show them some of the stuff during our live broadcast. Right now, you're going to be able to place that live broadcast inside of LinkedIn. So people can watch your live broadcast inside of LinkedIn on YouTube. People can watch your live YouTube broadcast inside of Facebook. Right? People can watch your live broadcast on Pinterest. So anytime people click that live link that I just showed you, people are going to be able to tune in to your live broadcast. And so that's really what's kind of powerful about using these things and these tools that you're going to have available to you while you're actually promoting your campaign. And of course, you're going to be able to then send people to the link. And once that webinar is over, what you would do is you're going to go back and you're going to have a YouTube video where you're going to go back and you're going to add in your annotations and your annotations and your cards. You should have gotten the benefit though of social sharing. You're going to get the benefit though of people sharing your live video. And this is, Marty, this is sort of what I was kind of going toward is when you create this live event, you're going to get some benefits that you don't get with a recorded video. Now, again, I understand if it's your preference not to use recorded video, it's fine. When you go live, there are going to be some people watching, and because they're commenting and because they're sharing and because you've actually placed this video in YouTube, in both LinkedIn and Facebook, you're going to get some activity that's going to make this video a little more viral, so that when you go back and add in stuff like your cards, you go back and add in stuff like your annotations, you are going to get more views on that video. Does that make sense, everybody? If you sort of get what I'm saying, please put the number 1 in the question box. If you get what I just said, if you sort of understand what I just went through about live video. Okay, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Ray. Oh, man. All right, and so guys, we're at 7:33. So okay, so let's see. Marty's question is, I meant that I wanted to go live, but displaying a video made earlier. Can you do that? Can you do that? Let's see. Good question. Can you go live, but yet use a recorded video? Yes and no. You can't necessarily do it. I guess you could sort of do that inside of YouTube. YouTube isn't exactly set up to do that. That's an interesting question. I know you can do that in software like OBS Open broadcast. How many of y'all, are you familiar with OBS, Marty? Which is, yeah, you could do that with OBS, right? And so you could actually then place that, you could place that link around, right? Yeah, yep. Okay, any questions? Any questions? So I think we've gotten through everything. And so that's really it, everybody. We're done here at 30 minutes. And so if you feel like if you let's see, um, how do you create a video with the speaker's image in the corner? Okay. Are you talking about a recorded video, Paul? You talking about a recorded video? So not a live video, but a recorded video. Okay, so if you wanted to do a live video with your image in the corner, you could use Google Hangouts. So for example, you would just go and you would create a live event and just do a Google Hangout, because when you did that, as you share your screen, your image would be, actually, no. Okay, well, there are a couple of things on that. If you want to share your screen, you wouldn't be able to be seen if you used Google Hangouts. Now, you would be able to have a live video where your image is in the screen. So if you're doing an interview, let's say you're doing an interview, you could have your image in the corner and you could have your subject there live. But if you just wanted to kind of share your screen, I don't think there's a way to have your image appear in the corner if you're going to do it on YouTube. Now, the way to do that, though, in a recorded sense is Camtasia Studio, right? Camtasia Studio, or what's the other one? Camtasia Studio, or what's the other one for Mac? ScreenFlow. Although Camtasia Studio now works on the Mac too. So we've only got one version. So I think if you get Camtasia Studio, you actually get it. The benefit of the subdomain is for people who, let's say they've already got, like for me, let's say you've already got your channel approved, and you've already got your channel approved and tied to YouTube, and you want to keep all your fundraising activity in a separate site, right? In a separate place. You could keep all that activity in one subdomain and yet have your domain that's approved with YouTube tied to YouTube. So all your activity, your internet marketing activity, you could keep all that tied to your YouTube channel. Okay, yeah, you got it. Okay, great. Yep. Yeah, you know what, Marty? There should be a tutorial video as to how to use that plugin in there. Um, it's really because a lot of what you're going to be doing with it is pretty much going to be stylistic. I mean, you can kind of customize it. And what I would say about this is, and this is just a recommendation. You don't have, you can take this and kind of with a grain of salt. Everybody who knows me knows that um, I'm a friend of a lot of the people that have created some of the pages like WP Profit, Lead Pages. I know all these guys. I'm a believer in optimized press, right? In terms of creating professional pages and then kind of having it running in the background. So I would say that if you really kind of want to elevate this, I would use optimized press along with this. Yeah, the new thing is hot, Ray. I agree with that. Yeah, it does run with the, you can do it with Sandbox. Can't do it with Sandbox. Okay. Any other questions? Great questions, guys. I appreciate that. Okay. If you feel like you learned something, if you feel like something new, okay. Okay. So what is optimized press? Okay. Optimized press is a way of building pages on WordPress, and it's been around for years. And again, lots of new ones coming on the market. Lots of really cool people who are doing it. Um, and again, I like all those guys. I'm friends with them. I still like Optimized Press. Now, I'm actually a partner in Genius Marketing Pro, but I've always used Optimized Press in addition to Genius Marketing Pro, mainly because I have years invested into it, and it's been good to me in terms of WordPress. I will definitely do that, Marty. Right on. And they've got good support too. I agree with that too, Ray. Yep, I'll definitely do that, Marty. All right. Any other questions? And now, if you guys learned anything new today, I want you to if you do me a favor, I don't even have this written right. If you just go to gainmindshare.net/testimonials, it doesn't say it's written there wrong. I should have an S there on the end. Just write a little something in there if you feel like you learned something new today, and that would be a big help to me. So again, I wrote it in here wrong. It should say testimonials, not testimonial. But again, that's optional. If you feel inclined, you feel like you learned something new, feel free to go there and just write something in there and just let other folks know that, and I appreciate that. So with that, everybody, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you all, and you guys have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.